Alright, I'm pretty sure most of you can relate to this. You sit down, you get your pen and paper out, and you start working. 5 minutes later, you find out that you're starting to lose focus, you get bored, and your temptation to do something out of task rises. And as soon as you get that notification from your phone, that temptation becomes reality. And you start scrolling through your phone, and I'm pretty sure I don't have to explain the rest of the story. Procrastination, it affects you, it affects me, it affects everyone. It's impossible to stop procrastination, it's impossible to end it. But there obviously is a way to avoid procrastination for a temporary amount of time. So in this video, I'll be going through several tips that you can use to help you to avoid procrastination so you can study effectively. So let's get straight into the video. Alright, tip number 1 is called pre-planning. Now, this involves you pre-planning your tasks that you're going to complete. You have to plan what you're going to do the next day or in the future, because if you sit down on your desk and you start figuring out what to do at that time, you're going to lose focus straight away, because you're going to be either overwhelmed by the workload or you're just going to be procrastinating during the time where you're trying to figuring out what to do. So it's most effective for you to plan your goals, plan your work the night or the day before, so that when you sit down, you know what you're going to do, your chances of procrastination decrease, and you get the work done effectively. Tip number 2 is to figure out what time of the day you can study most effectively at. If you figure out what time of the day you can work most effectively at, then your chances of procrastination decrease, because you know what time of the day you can concentrate the most, you know that time of the day you can focus the most, and you can get the most amount of work done. So in that particular time, you want to get most of your important work done, because you know you won't be able to procrastinate. So you might be a person who studies most effectively in the day, or you might be a person who studies most effectively at night. It's up to you, and if you still don't know what time of the day, then it's worth experimenting, because it will really help you in the future, because your chances of procrastinating in that most effective study time is very low. Now, tip number 3 is using a study method which can help you to reduce or avoid your procrastination, and that is the Pomodoro technique. Now, I have used this in the past in one of my previous videos, and it was the 1 hour study with me using the Pomodoro technique. And what the Pomodoro technique is, basically a person studying for a particular amount of time, taking a break, and then getting back to the study. Now, this is so effective because you don't realize that if you chunk up all your hours of work into one time of the day, then you're going to lose focus straight away. You're going to burn out, you're not going to concentrate, you're going to get bored, and so your procrastinating chances increases by a lot. But if you split that chunk into smaller pieces and take breaks in between, you're much more likely to have a higher focus, higher concentration, and you'll have a higher chance of studying more effectively, because you know that at the end of that study time, you've got something to look forward to, you've got a break to look forward to, and so it motivates you to study more. And that study time is obviously much lower than we previously used to use, so obviously you'll study more effectively. Now, tip number 4 is to build up your study time. This kind of relates to my previous tip talking about Pomodoro technique, because you assign yourself a particular amount of time you want to study at. Now, if you as a person procrastinate a lot and you know that you can't study for the long hours like some students do, then it's best for you to start from scratch. Now, this is important. It doesn't matter how small you study in a day, but if you increase that amount of time that you study in a day every day, then you'll find yourself studying for longer hours, because it does take 27 days to develop a habit according to science. So if you increase that time of yourself studying in 27 days and you find yourself studying from minutes into hours, then that can be really effective. You help yourself so you don't procrastinate as much, because you've increased that small amount of study time in which you don't want to procrastinate into longer amounts, and this can help you to study longer hours without procrastinating as much. And tip number 5, which is the last tip, is to use motivation and discipline in your work. You want to motivate yourself to study, and you need to discipline yourself so you don't procrastinate. You need to find a reason for why you want to complete the work, because if you find a reason for why you want to complete the work, like say, if I don't complete this homework, I won't do good in my exams, then you'll be much more likely to do the work more effectively, because using that reason will make you think that if I don't do this homework, I'm not going to do well in my exams, and no one wants to do bad in their exams. So this motivates you to do the work, because you know this work or this assignment is of high importance, so you want to get the work done. And this also disciplines you, because it keeps you away from procrastination, because you know you don't want to procrastinate during the work of this task, because this task is important, it will benefit you in the future. And if you procrastinate, you won't be able to focus during the work, and so it will not help your future. So disciplining and motivating yourself is a way to also help you reduce your procrastination so you can work more effectively. So these are all the tips that I wanted to share with you to help you avoid your procrastination. Of course, not all of these tips will work for you. It's up to you to figure out which tips can work for you, and I hope you did really like this video. If you are new to this channel, do consider subscribing, because only 11% of the people who watch my videos are subscribed. So if you're new, or if you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.